Louis Vuitton Imagination, a $300+ fragrance that has completely taken over the fragrance world. Many are calling it the best daily fragrance of all time. It smells like luxurious creamy soap with notes like ginger, bergamot, and cinnamon. And black tea. I forgot about the black tea. I decided to wear it every single day for a week straight to see if it's actually worth all of the hype. And along the 7 days, here are 5 things that I learned about this fragrance that you need to know before you even consider buying it. Especially number 5, which could end up saving you hundreds of dollars. The first thing I learned is something I realized extremely quickly within the first 2 to 3 days of using it, and that is Louis Vuitton Imagination might just be the most versatile fragrance ever created. And I really don't say that lightly. My personal collection is well over 450 bottles now, but Imagination can genuinely do it all, from the gym to literally going out on dinner date nights in the wintertime with your girlfriend. Imagination can do all of those things, and it does it all really freaking well. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I didn't really take this thing out of the house. I mean, I went on a walk with my dog, I went to the gym, I ran some daily errands, but it wasn't until Wednesday night, I believe, where I wore this on a run. First off, I wore it on a run, and that felt kind of weird. Usually I wouldn't wear cologne on a run. But okay, this doesn't sound weird. It mixed weirdly well with my sweat, and it worked. It worked well on the run. After the run, I went out to dinner with 3 of my friends. We got tacos. For a nighttime dinner when it's cold outside, wearing a citrusy fresh fragrance like Imagination, at first, it felt criminal. I'm typically someone who would pull out like a Naxos or even an Amori Cafe, something sweet, heavy, and rich. So wearing Imagination, to be honest, it just felt wrong. But by the end of the night, I was freaking loving it. Honestly, like the fact something so fresh and clean smelling can work even on something like a dinner night out is pretty crazy, and it just shows just how versatile Imagination truly is. I think that versatility comes from the creaminess and the slight spice from the cinnamon, because yes, it is a soapy, fresh and clean scent, but it has enough richness and kind of depth, and also longevity too, which I'll get to later, that makes it just so good all year round. Dressed down, dressed up, even in a suit and a tie. Now, after doing this challenge for a week, I wouldn't even feel that uncomfortable putting on Imagination in a suit and a tie, going out to like a fancy dinner when it's cold outside, which I can't really say for any other fragrance within my collection. And yes, speaking of performance, that is the second thing that I learned and that you need to know about this cologne. This is the most controversial fragrance when it comes to how strong it is and how long it lasts. On the internet, you'll see different opinions on Reddit forums, news articles on Fragrantica. There are a big group of people that say, on me, it lasts 30 minutes. I can't smell it after an hour. The longevity is terrible. It performs like it's scented water. And then there's the other group that are saying it's incredibly strong. It lasts, the entire day. It lasts through showers. It's a beast projector. So what's the truth? Who's telling the truth? Is it the people that say it lasts 30 minutes or the people claiming it lasts for the entire day? Well, from my experience of wearing this thing for a week straight, I found that the answer lies somewhere in between both of those answers, but more towards the stronger side. Fragrantica can be hit or miss. Usually a miss, honestly. It's just a bunch of trolls a lot of the time. But for Imagination's performance, I would say that it's ranked pretty fairly. You'll see there's a longevity and a sillage stat. Sillage just basically means the projection, the scent trail, whereas longevity obviously means just how long the fragrance actually lasts. I would say this lasts better than it projects. It's something that you can overspray, do 6, 7, or 8 sprays of, and you won't feel like you're suffocating everyone around you. But when you spray it on, no matter how little or how many sprays you end up doing, you can pretty much know with confidence that this will last a good 7 to 9 hours. But again, I do feel like it's hard because everybody's skin, oh, look at that atomizer too. Everybody's skin is different. But for me, I got a good, again, 7 to 9 hours pretty much on 6 out of the 7 days. I got, it lasted me the entire day. And the one day I felt like it lacked in longevity, I went to the gym and I played basketball. So it's not really fair. My conclusion is 6 sprays for me is the sweet spot with Imagination. I'm someone that never likes to overspray their fragrances, but because this is so fresh, clean, and soapy, for me, even 6 sprays is a lot for most fragrances. But I found for Imagination, it was the sweet spot in terms of just compliments and enjoyable wear and something that could just get through the entire day. 6 out of the 7 times. 6 sprays, perfect. The third thing that I learned about Louis Vuitton Imagination is that this thing is a freaking compliment magnet. And I know that term is just thrown around in the fragrance community, and it's just something people say to, you know, get views and attention. But Imagination got me a lot of compliments, and it's not just the amount of compliments, it's who the compliments were from. I got 2 from my girlfriend and 1 from my mum. And that might not sound crazy, but my girlfriend and my mum are some of the pickiest people I've ever met when it comes to finding scents that they actually enjoy. A prime example of that is that I just bought Amouage Outlands, an $800 fragrance that has gotten a ton of hype in the community, and me personally, I think it smells incredible. My girlfriend smelled this on me for the first time, and when I tell you, for the rest of the night, she was basically social distancing herself from me, that would be an understatement. So yeah, safe to say, at least with her, I will never be wearing this again. I did not have that reaction. In fact, I had the complete opposite reaction with Louis Vuitton Imagination for the week that I wore it. The compliments themselves weren't great, but the fact that they even liked the fragrance says something. And I mean, Imagination is known as a big compliment puller in the community, and from my experience, I can say it definitely, you know, lives up to that reputation. My girlfriend just said I smelled like a nice lemon, and that might not sound good, but just let me tell you, compared to some of the other stuff she said about some perfumes, that is like hearing from Santa that you're going to get the new iPhone for Christmas. I mean, that is a top tier compliment from my girlfriend. That's how harsh she is about perfume. And then with my mum, she just asked me what fragrance am I wearing. Whenever she asks that, it means she likes it because she might want to go and buy it for herself. And she said it just smelled like nice soap. And I completely agree. To me, it just smells like luxurious soap with a little bit of spiciness. So go Imagination. Compliment from my mum and my girlfriend in the same week. That's freaking difficult. The fourth thing I learned is that this scent profile just gets boring so damn quickly. And it sucks to say because the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, it was pretty fun wearing this fragrance, especially because, you know, I kind of had trashed on it in the past and not been the biggest fan, but it was growing on me quickly. But already by Wednesday, I'd had enough and I wanted to move on. Look, I'm used to wearing a different fragrance every day, so maybe this is something I should have expected, but I was kind of hoping, you know, for the week, I would find it quite easy just to wear Imagination every single day. But by Wednesday, Thursday, and by Friday, I was just done. I was basically forcing myself through the challenge. Yes, it's versatile. Yes, it's just clean, soapy, and easy to wear. But man, I wanted something more interesting by Wednesday, and I feel like if you just can only own one fragrance, although this is super versatile, I feel like a lot of you guys watching would just get bored of it really quickly because it is just a soapy, clean fragrance with a touch of spice. There's no fruitiness, there's no, you know, unique note in there to kind of pull you in. In my opinion, it's basic and simple, but done right. But at the end of the day, that is still just basic and simple. It will probably get boring. And I hate to do this, but compared to something like Pacific Chill, I just never see myself liking Imagination more than this fragrance. I find Pacific Chill so much more interesting with the apricot, the fruitiness. I feel like it's just a fragrance with so much more character than Imagination. Is it as classy and sophisticated as this scent? No. But I think in terms of something that's more unique, interesting, and won't get boring as quickly, Pacific Chill will always have my heart. And the fifth and final thing that I learned and that you guys definitely need to be aware about is something that might trigger some of you, but it's just my personal experience and I'm just gonna say it. There are dupes out there that genuinely I do think are superior to the real Imagination. And there's also one dupe out there that I think is significantly worse than the real Imagination. I'm going to show you the 3 that I'm talking about just so you guys know. I know there's a lot of dupe haters out there. The good news is if you don't like dupes for whatever reason, even if you go out and buy the real Imagination, you're still going to get all those great things that I've just talked about. But for the people who are open to dupes, who are open to saving money, I've got 2 for you that put their own kind of spin on the Imagination scent profile that you need to lock in for. The first is going to be Boujeremy's Hectic. This is an Australian... Oh, the atomizer's gone. This is an Australian house that has since gone international, and Hectic is their bestseller. And interestingly, fragrance brands and their best fragrance is kind of like music artists for me. My favorite artists, their most popular song is usually not the one that I like most because those songs are usually just made for the masses. They're kind of boring. I usually like their more sleeper songs. Same with fragrances, but Hectic might be the one exception to that rule. Right now, Hectic is by far Boujeremy's bestseller, and I can honestly see why. But I think as well, well, it might be my favorite fragrance from Jeremy, all at the same time. Hectic is pretty close to Imagination, but it essentially overdoses the cinnamon, so it adds in some more warmth, some more spiciness. Again, it just gives a bit more character to Imagination and cuts through some of that soapiness. If you just want a pure, fresh and clean scent though, the Real Imagination 100% would probably be more up your alley. But again, for me, as someone who likes something a bit more interesting, who isn't usually a fan actually of those overly soapy scents, Hectic is fantastic for me. I actually talked to the owner of Jeremy, and I thought originally when he was designing this dupe, he would have just added in more cinnamon. But actually, when he was cloning Imagination, the cinnamon note was a captive, which essentially means that it's a proprietary or exclusive ingredient to Louis Vuitton, at least at the time when he was trying to clone it. So he had to work a way around it. He had to design his own cinnamon accord without knowing the exact one Louis Vuitton used. And the way that his perfumer made his unique cinnamon basically makes it smell stronger than in Imagination and slightly different. So that's a kind of cool story. But I really like the cinnamon in this, and I actually think it makes it a more interesting fragrance than the Real Imagination. You'll also find with Hectic, the performance is, at least on me, significantly better, closer to that 12-hour longevity mark rather than 7 to 9 hours, with projection that is pretty damn strong. I would say a bit stronger than the Real Imagination. With Hectic, I would probably go around that 4 spray mark instead of 6 sprays. As good as Hectic is, I actually think this new one is even better. It's close, but Marwa by Arabia Prestige. This is going completely viral at the moment, and honestly, crazy atomizer. For good reason. Arabia just kill it with pretty much all of their dupes, and this one is no exception. It's very close to Imagination, a bit closer than Hectic is. I just find the only difference is it's a touch spicier, but the spice isn't coming from cinnamon, it's something else, and also just a touch creamier too. This one honestly kind of smells like the dry down of the Real Imagination as soon as you spray it on, so you kind of just ignore that like punchy, harsh opening. I really enjoy it. Performance, I get the exact same as the Real Imagination, so 7 to 9 hours of longevity with moderate projection. With this one, I would go with 6 sprays. And with both Hectic and Marwa, you're looking at like 60 to 70 Australian dollars. If you're in the US, you can pick this up for like 30 or 40. I just think for 99% of you watching, you should save the money. The Real Imagination is just so ludicrously expensive, but maybe you want a nice birthday gift, you want to treat yourself, get something for Christmas, and you really want to own a real Louis Vuitton. The great news is, again guys, you will not be disappointed if you buy the real thing over the dupes. And you also won't be disappointed if you buy the dupes over the real thing. So it's honestly a win-win for everybody. But what isn't a win for everybody is if you buy this fragrance. Kairos Blue Spice by COLOGNE. COLOGNE have some incredible fragrances. I personally don't think this is one of them, but I also don't think it's terrible. But I think the reason it's not as good as, say, a Marwa or a Hectic is because this, to my knowledge, was one of the first Imagination dupes to come out. And usually when you're one of the first, the ones that come out after you are going to be improved versions of the original. This one just kind of falls flat to me. It's just a pure citrusy, clean fragrance. Yeah, it's close, but it's just missing something. And again, it comes across more citrusy. I personally don't enjoy it. It has like this weird lemoniness. And the performance on my skin is around 5 to 6 hours of longevity with pretty weak projection. I just think there's better out there than this fragrance. It's not terrible. If Marwa and Hectic didn't exist, I probably would have no issue recommending this. It's just the fact that these two are now out, I would skip this one. My final score of Imagination after wearing it for a week straight is going to be a 7.2 out of 10. Do I personally think it is worth all of the hype that it gets? I would actually say no, it's not worth it. And I would say to likely skip the real one, and in this case, buy the dupes. And I can't say that for every fragrance. For example, Pacific Chill, I would recommend most cases just to save up and buy the real thing. But with Imagination, there's so many great cheaper alternatives out there that I would consider. If you do value just an extremely versatile fragrance that you know will work in terms of positive attention and compliments, and you enjoy those soapy scent profiles though, this for you could easily be a 9 to a 10 out of 10 fragrance and your perfect signature scent. It's just not for me personally. Let me know what fragrance you want me to wear next for a week straight, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe too. Forgot about that. Peace.